from the VI, a place of history like the African side, yeah. St. Thomas and St. John and St. Dry, nothing can come between us but the waters that divide, yeah. Even though we're just a few square miles, I travel around the world with Virgin Island pride, yeah. A lot of people still going through strife, and still we live a joyful life. That's why the place nice, so nice, so nice. Sweet, sweet St. Thomas nice, so nice, so nice. St. Cry full of pure vibes, so nice, so nice. St. John a real paradise, so nice, so nice. We got so much to lose, yet so much to prove. Hey. Virgin Island teachers never raise no fool. Mama sent me school. Hey. When it's difficult, we still a push through. No matter what the blessings of will continue. We are a people of great value. That's why we stick together like tamarind stew. Hey. Remember Queen Mary, we make the fire burn, and Edward Blyden with the Africa vision. Remember St. John with the slave rebellion. General Butler say emancipation. That's why the place nice, so nice, so nice. Sweet, sweet St. Thomas nice, so nice, so nice. St. Cry full of pure vibes, so nice, so nice. St. John a real paradise, so nice, so nice. Hey, we got so much to prove, yet so much to lose. Hey, Virgin Island teachers never raise no fool. Mama sent me school. Yeah, St. Cry produce the band midnight. Yeah, man, them kind of rules. Mind check, my love. Una do us, una do us, una do us. How are the VI massive them there? If you from the VI, when you there, when you there, when you there, put your hands in my pie. Represent your home. If you from the VI, oh, when you there, when you there, when you there, put your flags in my pie. This is the people show. No matter where we go.
Good morning. I say good morning to the Virgin Islands public. It's a beautiful day in the U.S. Virgin Islands. I'm hearing an echo here, but okay, I'm not hearing it anymore. But I wanted to say good morning to each and every one of you out there. This is Adela Fonsi Donestog here with you this bright Monday morning here in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And when I say good morning, I mean good morning to St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John, and Water Island, to all the residents out there. You know, and over the weekend I was reading an article in the newspaper, and it seemed as though we're up to 99 COVID-related deaths in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And hopefully this thing can subside because it's tormenting the lives of everyone. And I mean, you know, I'm not going to read out any condolences this morning because it's so many of them. So many friends have passed. Not that they're COVID related, but, you know, just individuals, probably persons that are extremely stressed out from all types of different things. And of course, this COVID is not making it any better for anyone. And this morning, I just wanted to say condolences to all them families, all the families out there who have lost, you know, a loved one. And I'm going to get the topic this morning that we're going to be discussing is the subject being crime. And I'm talking about crime in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And you know, our parents used to tell us, and of course the older people still say it, that especially when you're as a youngster going out and going to some of these parties and you know indulging in all types of different things, parents would normally tell you, you know, be careful where you're going. You don't want to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. So the topic this morning we're discussing is crime, and we're talking about violent crime, and I'm going to get into the definitions of that. But before we get into that, let me just step back and just resurrect or reflect on some topics that came up last week. Of course, WAPA, the WAPA rates is there. The PSC denied them for a continued rate or item that they were actually assessing on ratepayers. So that could result in a rate reduction, according to the article, that we might experience a 3 cents reduction on your bill. 3 cents. Moving on to something else, it seems as though this Epstein saga continues and it's not going away anytime soon. You got now Prince Charles, and then you got other people that they're trying to implicate, like a bank president, and the list goes on and on. And it seems as though Gershlin Maxwell, who was recently convicted, is also appealing her case, and her attorneys are basically saying that they don't think the outcome is going to be any different, that it's going to be the same. But I'm wondering at what point just this Epstein saga is going to go away, because it seems as though that it's like a domino effect. It's the dominoes are tumbling, and there's been many mentions of the U.S. Virgin Islands and his little island here in the U.S. Virgin Islands, but I'm sure that something is going to break eventually. Kids have returned to school. I don't want to refer to them as kids, because kids, they often say, when you say kids, a kid is a goat. So we don't want to refer to our young adults as kids anymore. So I'm going to refer to them as our children. You know, our young adults, children. A child will be a child for the rest of their life. But day one and day two, in some of the, I believe it was on St. Croix in Central High, there were some fights. And we're hoping that that could be stress coming from the home environment. It could be so many different things. But it's sad to hear that on opening day, and of course on continued second day, that this is transpiring. And I could only imagine the challenge of those teachers in the respective schools, because that ain't anything to deal with when you have a whole set of young people fighting at the same time, and instructors or teachers are completely overwhelmed. They cannot contain that. So let's hope that we get it under control and that we're able to get back to some kind of normalcy, and especially for our young people who depend on that environment to learn. We hope that we need to pray for them as well. Hurricane season is again coming, folks. And I know that there's many of you out there whose homes are completely compromised. And you could only hope that we're able to get some kind of relief for Virgin Islanders who continue to be in domiciles or homes that are completely compromised, don't have any roof, blue tops are still there. We can only hope that there's some kind of promise on the horizon. And what can we expect for the Virgin Islands? It's so much that is taking place that, folks, the discussion we have there this morning, and you know there was an old saying, again, I'm going to get back. The discussion we're having this morning is the topic of crime in the Virgin Islands. And when you define crime, you know, what is the definition of crime? The definition of crime is an action or omission that constitutes an offense that may be prosecuted by the state and is punishable by law. But then we have to shift over slightly and kind of differentiate violent crime are just crime. Violent crime. What is the definition of violent crime? A violent crime or crime of violence is a crime in which the offender uses or threatens to use violent force upon the victim. This entails both crimes in which the violent act is the objective, such as murder, as well as crimes in which violence is the means to the end, such as robbery. Violent crimes include crimes committed with weapons, because we know that a man or a person can beat another person to death with their hand. That is constitutes, so that would be considered a violent crime, an offense. And this morning I wanted to discuss, going back to what I indicated about what our parents used to often tell us. And our parents used to often tell us, you're going out and you're going to party, but be careful that you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, folks, today we're using, you could be in the right place at the wrong time. What does that mean? I want to offer my condolences to the family of Stacy Shang on St. Croix. And I don't think people have really processed what have taken place. I know on St. Croix they have, but folks here in St. Thomas, I'm telling you, what took place there in St. Croix with Stacy Shang is really extremely unfortunate, and I offer my condolences to that family. And of course, we have had deaths over a period of time, and those deaths include two young men. I believe they were only 17 years of age that were shot up in a vehicle. But this one resonates with people more, and I'm talking about Stacy Shang on St. Croix. Resonate more with people because she was in her home. Where do you feel safer than in your home? And that's why this morning I'm discussing crime. Wrong place at the wrong time, right place at the wrong time. Because Miss Shang was in her home, that is supposed to be the safest haven for individuals. And while in her home, a stray bullet came straight through a window and struck her in the chest. Fatal. Killed her. That's the right place at the wrong time. And I could only imagine the shock wave that I have sent throughout the community. Because if you're not safe in your own home, where are you safe? Because your home is considered to be the right place. You didn't go out to engage anyone. You just in your bedroom, relaxing, getting ready to watch TV or whatever she was doing. But it's the place that you consider to be the safest haven, your home. And here comes a stray bullet and struck this lady. The community should be alarmed and upset at this, and I'm quite sure that they are. And I'm tempted to navigate to several things. Because if the governor made a statement some time back about crime and having surveillance cameras, security cameras everywhere. We need to start solving these crimes. It shouldn't be just about talk. It should be about action. I know that the commissioner of the police department has his hands full. And I'm quickly reminded of the shot spotter and the other thing, the shot spotter pickup and shots fired in that area. But it can't only be about shot spotter. It's got to be about being able to identify. In this case, I'm not sure that they were able to identify. But this should be a shock and a wake-up call for all of us. You're in your home, relaxed, safest haven for you. And a stray bullet comes through the window and strikes you in the chest. That can't be a good feeling at all. And I'm quite sure that people, especially on St. Croix, has to be really frantic about what took place. A lady that was made valuable contributions to the community. Again, I'm talking about Miss Stacy Shang in St. Croix. Valuable contributions to the community, and of course, continue to make contributions. And within our home, the most unfortunate thing that happened. Bullets shouldn't be fired so wildly anywhere. And of course, if we can't figure out a way to get some of these guns off of the street, because it's obviously fallen into some of the wrong hands, because we have legal possession and illegal possession. And what we're talking about with these violent crimes is the illegal possession, that there's firearms out there on the road and that they're firing them so freely that a person can be struck in their own home. I don't know how to even process this one myself. And I could only imagine, like I said, the people that are dear and close to this thing must be still in total shock over this. But here are the questions that I wanted to pose this morning. And, you know, it's something that we don't like discussing, but we have no choice but to discuss. And as a community, we have to make our voices heard, because we need some kind of strategic plan in place, effective. We know we can't end crime, period, but we could try to minimize it, get it under some kind of control for the residents, protecting life and property for Virgin Islanders. So this, of course, again with Stacy Shang, is considered to be a crime that is a tragedy that is beyond comprehension, because I still can't comprehend it today. So the questions that I'd like to pose for the public is violent crimes changing the Virgin Islands society? Are residents safe in their homes? How can we reduce violent crimes? Can the VI be held hostage by criminals? Are Virgin Islanders concerned about the nature and wave of violent acts in our community? What are your thoughts? Because it's so important that we have this discussion. Because this didn't happen years ago. This happened just the other day. And there's an article that actually appears in the newspaper where you know, it speaks about just Miss Stacy Shang, and it was I think a nice article that resonated with a lot of people, because the article was titled "Tragedy Beyond Comprehension," because I think it spoke volumes, and it actually told you that here it is, that it could have happened to your mom, your dad, your sister, your cousin, you. Just standing in your living room, a stray bullet comes through. Because you see, there's a lot of residents in the community that hear these gunshots. And I'm not just talking about Old Year's Night ringing in New Year's Day. I'm also talking about the just the stray bullets, the height of bullets just ringing out people windows, and they could hear them live and clear. At any time, one of them bullets could take the wrong direction. You know, I remember a pastor shared with me, just to show you that there's no limits or no discrimination here. Pastor shared, a priest from the Catholic Church, Holy Family, once shared with me that a bullet came straight through the roof of the church onto the center of the floor. Could you imagine that striking not just the father or the priest, but striking anyone in the church? Could have been your mother, could have been your sister, your father, your brother, your cousin, family member, friend, could have been anyone. This thing is getting extremely, extremely dangerous. And it tells you that if we're not able to really contain the number of firearms that you have out there, and at the same time, because don't take me wrong, I don't believe only, we have the perpetrators, we have those who indulge, but I have always felt that from a societal standpoint, psychological standpoint, that we have to start providing a lot of our young men with opportunities or start creating programs to get or address it from the root, and maybe be able to address the root causes of the problem. Because if we don't, then it's going to heighten. And if we're not alarmed today, and our system or government does not understand that we must proceed with a level of urgency, we better be careful that some of those very criminals out there that we have not been able to contain don't graduate to a different level. And I've said this time and time again, that if we don't start to contain this, it's going to get to a frightening level, because it's already to a frightening level. Imagine, wrong place at the wrong time is what we heard all our lives. But today we're saying you could be in the right place at the wrong time. That is alarming. And we have, as a community, have to start taking this stuff seriously and demand that our system, that the authorities start to address this issue in the most vigilant way. And I'm talking about, guns, getting them off of the street. We've gotten some of them off of the street. But have we effectively really addressed this issue? I don't think so. We have a lot of work to do. So we could only say as a community, get to work. Please. Because it could be me next. Who knows? Could be a little child in a car, just sitting down, eating ice cream. Bullet comes through the window, strikes them. We don't want those scenarios, or just the thought of those scenarios. So, again, I'm discussing the issue of crime. I know I heard government officials made statements, and rightfully so, because the community want to hear from each and every one of you. Why? Because you're the ones that have to come up with the solutions to address, yes, the myriad of problems that exist, but not to neglect public safety, because public safety can disrupt your livelihood in the worst way. Public safety is not to be taken for granted. Public safety is a necessity. Certainly, public safety is people's constitutional right to have a good dispensation of justice, but also be able to enjoy the comfort of their homes. Do you guys remember? And I remember way back in Savannah when my, God rest her soul, my grandmother was alive. My grandmother used to tell me that they used to leave homes open and go out because they knew it was safe. They knew no one would tamper or enter their domicile. Today, no. People putting all kind of locks on their doors. Deadlock. You name it. And they have those on their doors. But let me go to the telephone lines. Good morning. You're on the air. Connect the dots.
Connect the dots. What's up, Alan? What's up?
I'm great. Alan, how are you?
I'm good. I was calling here about this thing about run, place, run, time, place, time, run.
You want me to repeat it for you?
I know.
Yeah, wrong place. But, I'm sure you heard this from your mother and father or father often. You could be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But you could also, today, we have added a phrase to that. Right place at the wrong time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So go
But
ahead. Your time.
the part that I wouldn't go with is based on if I'm home,
Yeah.
a bullet could come in your house and hit you. I don't know if that's the wrong place, but I know in my house it will happen. It do happen. But I know for a fact if I'm home and the spirit tell me, hey, don't go downtown, I ain't going downtown.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Because sometimes I'll say, don't let your friend come call you in the night and tell you, boy, hey, let's go ahead. No, that ain't happening. I in the house, I stay in the house. Being around place around time it happened, I have seen a lot of incidents where we talk to the children when we were police and stuff and tell them, look, don't let your friends come and call you at the house and go no place. Some of them did and said, Mommy, I ain't going to be no punk, man. I want to go out. Got up with your friend. She had to come and pick him up and identify the body because he did something where the spirit wasn't advising you to do. You know, so based on that, it do happen, I don't know, in the community. It happened ahead to a few people. They're in the house and bullets come in and hit them and they're done. I can't say that's the wrong place, but the best place to be is home.
No, that's enjoy yourself. No, Alan, that's the right place. You're in the right place.
Everyone, yeah, I mean, you're in the right place.
Yeah.
But it happened.
Yeah.
Well, you want to be dying around place. Around place, you see you gone out, you ain't got nothing to do with no shooting and you end up getting shoot.
Yeah.
You know, so it is what it is, you know, but you just have to be careful because this younger generation, they'll do some stuff that they don't give a hoot, you know, so
yeah,
you have to man up and we have to do as parents and straighten them out because there's only a percentage you're going to straighten out and there's only a percentage you're going to help, you know, so as long as we don't get 100% bad, we're good, you know, so it's a blessing though. Anyway, you have a blessed morning, man. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Okay, bless. Yeah.
Okay, take care. Yeah, and you know, the caller has a great point. But what I was trying to say, and hopefully it resonates, you're in the right place, you're home, but it was in the wrong time. Good morning, you're on the air, connect the dots.
Good morning, Mrs. Anister.
Yes, sir.
This is Gene Dragon.
Hey.
Colin. So how you doing, okay?
I'm fine. How you doing?
I tell you, mother, don't use the snake on me in church because you got a stick there working on. You want to beat me with it, okay? All right. Now, listen to me.
Uh-huh.
I try to participate a little bit on those discussion. My question is, on I understand we have about 440 churches in St. Thomas. I believe only way to solve those problems with this crime, they need to put something in the school for graduation by religions. If the government, if everybody's serious, you need to get in all the church, either Catholic, Apostolic, everyone participate and put a law. The child to be graduated had to get some kind of degree in religion, teaching them a little Bible, a little everything. Now, if not, the churches can get paid to do that. Everyone can be doing at least 1 hour in each class to helping to solve this problem. You may not solve 100% of the kids, but 99% you could get some can be broke down them heart because you have some kids there they need help and to bring them to the conclusion. I believe if we're serious, we're not going to stay there and just blame parents, blame government, blame nothing there. This only way. Remember, it takes one lady in the world to take off prayer in school. And we have so much churches all over to the world cannot convince the government to put prayer serious in the church and the school, we have a problem. We play a lot of hypocrisy, okay? And believe me, we not going to solve the problem like that. Don't we go through God and do those things in school? If you have 440 church, and each one of the church have more than a priest or a pastor, can this help and the school to do an hour teaching the children? Can you take him? If you have 400 churches, I repeat that, but you have more than 400 people or 300 in each church, if you multiply this and we're serious about it, the problem can be solved. God bless you and have a pleasant day.
Okay, thanks for calling. Well, the caller has a point. We have a church, we have many, many churches in the Virgin Islands, and I believe he gave a count. So he obviously have given much thought to this, but some research as well. Good morning, you on the air, connect the dots.
Good morning, Senator Donald Stub.
Good morning, sir.
Senator Donald Stub, you know there's a time when sometimes you have to give up when you want to do good and you can't get any support for such a thing, eh? It's when you're preaching a message, but the message wouldn't go through, people don't want to accept the message. Noah preached about the flood for a while, and the people ignored it until finally, when the time came and the tragedy had to happen, it happened.
Yeah.
We could sympathize with the tragic event that happened. And when, like I said, the people who talk about if you see something, say something, I don't want people to suggest nothing, don't want to involve people. I mean, people that they could trust, or people who have ideas that could make a difference, that could help.
Yeah.
Then it's a waste of time. I got my message from Answer on another radio show when the commissioner came on and talked about the matter. And for me, it sounded to me, I mean, with all due respect to him, that the department and even most places is, don't call us, we'll call you. You know? You're going to want information only after something happened, after the fact. The police are going to go and do investigation, they need this or that. But, I mean, before something like that happened, before the boat started to sink, we were supposed to have our floating things or whatever it is, emergency, just in case this happened, what we could do so we wouldn't be caught off guard, and we have an opportunity. I know they had a person who was a former senator, and somebody said he might have made a good running mate for you. Something to do with the loans of the investment. And I know I called the man office a time about a matter. I never get no response from him. His cell phone or something like that, and never got a response back. And you never know, even the strategy, and the information or knowledge at that time might have helped somewhat in such a terrible situation. But it's like this, with the Ansnet syndrome we have, when they stop the Ansnet, they scramble all over the place. We got upset and whatever, and then it died down and things go back to normal. But I hope the Senator Dongstar, I don't know, because I know the most people that run, I mean, for governor, senator, things are really said the same. You might make a difference,
by having something to reach out to people as long as they understand the right and they believe in God to do the right thing and make a difference in these things, even with the COVID thing that the other guy maybe don't want to know, but God knows everything, man. And thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you for calling.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone, I think the entire community is really, really concerned about this issue. Because if you think, like I said, if you think about it, it could happen to anyone. That could have happened to anyone. Good morning, you're on the air. Connect the dots.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Calling on the elderly. We'd like to know, is someone going to get appointed to handle all of the dedicated probate judge?
Oh, okay. That yes, you're talking about a law that was passed to facilitate for the elderly and terminally ill.
Right.
Well, I
Is
know.
the court going to be appointing someone, the dedicated judge?
Okay, I don't know if they appointed a judge as yet, but I suspect that the chief judge should probably be working on that by now, and I'm sure he's just trying to assess who can handle that workload, because I understand that it's a number of cases that that has to be worked on to meet and of course to meet that timeline. So I'm going to do probably a little bit of research to find out if any strides have been made, and I'll announce it next Monday.
That would be great. That would be great. We can hear something that, fortunately for probate, it's mostly nothing but elderly.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your help.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. Yeah, that's another issue that we had brought up. And I, normally I try not to stray from the topic that we have each morning for the purpose of being able to maximize them. But there's a couple of other things that I'll touch on before I close out the program this morning. Good morning, you're on the air. Connect the dots.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Donna Stewart. I have a question. Well, not so much of a question, but you know what? This, like you said, this crime is getting out of hand. And I remember a few years ago, I went to a couple of my senator friends, and I told them about a couple of laws that have been passed in states like California, Illinois, and it's targeted towards these criminals who commit violent crimes, especially the teenagers who get away with things, try to get away at least. One of the proposals was, it's called the three-strike clause, and it's not the one that you give for criminals where they have life. The three-strike clause is if they are gang members and they commit 3 felonies, that's an automatic 25 years. Another one that the states are doing is that if you commit a crime and they can prove that you are in a gang when you are sentenced, there's an additional 5 years added to that sentence. I told them that, they said, oh, no, that's too hard. The community is not going to accept it. Well, the community is not going to accept these crimes anymore either. We have to do something because they're getting away with too much. And then some of them, when they do it, the reason why they're not exposed is because they may be related to someone who's in a position, or they do this here, soul rock and hide the hands syndrome. We need to do something. Too many of our people are dying, whether by COVID, other things, but crime is not acceptable. Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling. Yeah. If it's one thing I think many of us share in common is that we want to see crime addressed. And let me go to the telephone line. Good morning, you're on the air. Connect the dots.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, blessed. How are you?
Okay, good. I'd like to discuss, a gentleman called in and talked about 400 and something churches on the island, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what he is explaining, I understand it from a different standpoint, and that is that we are tripart beings. We are spirit, we are soul, and we are body. Our soul consists of our emotions, our thoughts, and our will. Now, to my understanding, if we don't feed our spirit with the Word of God, we will not have a balance in life, and therefore will be falling into all of these kinds of crimes all the time and falling into all kinds of things that we shouldn't be falling into. Are you understanding me so far, Mr. Donistor?
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm following you.
Okay. So I do believe what he's saying is correct, and that we do need to have a balance, but this starts with the parents in the home. Now, if these children become adults and they decide to go a wrong way and do things that they know they should not be doing, that's not on the parent who gave the children a spiritual balance. You follow? So just like how we have to feed our physical bodies in order for them to survive, we have to feed our spirit man as well, and then we have to feed our soul. But if we don't feed our spirit man, then our soul will not have a conscience as to whether what is right and wrong.
Correct.
Okay. Now, also, that lady talked about something with the seniors. I really sincerely hope that they can start to address this matter with the seniors because we need help. Yeah. Thirdly, we're talking about the crime, which is the most important topic today. Concerning that crime, if we have an administrator that is saying that the cameras will pick up when somebody passes a gas, then we have a very serious problem if he doesn't see how serious this thing is and the magnitude of these crimes. Now, according to the Bible, you know, if you train up a child in the way that he should go, it says that he will not depart when he's older. Okay, he may stray, yes, but he's going to come back on that path. Once you have given him the spiritual education that he needs from knee-high to a grasshopper. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think that that gentleman was on track. I believe that this thing with our crime is not going to improve unless we start as a community to start to lead our children spiritually, should they allow us the privilege of doing so. You know, and I also feel that the re-implementation of those crafts programs or those skills programs in the Charlotte Amalie High School and the other high school is paramount. Because if we don't train our children in a skill to do plumbing or to do electricity or something, not all of them are cut out to be college students or to go to college and get a college education. So they need a trade. So they need to re-implement those trade programs in the schools. So anyway, I think that's all I have to say for now.
Well, you said a lot. You said a lot, and a lot of stuff that is valuable.
Yeah, and there's a lot more that's bothering me too that I don't have the time to go into a discourse with you on the phone. But I want to say to you that there are a multitude of us out there that are exceedingly proud of you for standing up against the powers that be and all of this corruption and all of this wrongdoing within our society. We're very proud of you. We know that they do not want someone like you in office, but if they were to do what God has mandated, you would have been in there based on our vote. Because we have voted you in every time that you ran for governor. And we know that you won every time that you ran for governor. You won according to our votes, but not according to the powers that be. But in any event, may God bless them, because he said that you should bless your enemies, not curse them. So I am saying may God bless every single one of them that knows exactly what they're doing behind the scenes, that they think is behind the scenes, but are not aware that God is revealing to those of us who are in Christ exactly what the time of day is with them and what they're doing. So may God bless them, and may God continue to bless you and prosper your life and keep you safe and protect you in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Have a good day, Senator Donistor.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day as well. Yeah, people are very, very passionate about a lot of things that are going on here. And, you know, I just to address some of the, I want to be able to entertain all the calls this morning that come in. Good morning, you on the air. Connect the dots.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Morning.
Hey, look here. I agree with some of the previous caller in terms of knowledge of God, knowing knowledge of God, enriching yourself spiritually, because a lot of people are spiritually poor, they have no knowledge of God. Biblical code says our people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge of God. But and then I agree with the previous caller also, we need to have our youth learn the knowledge of know-how, meaning the vocational and technical educational program, things to do for self, produce for self. That's the way you can make a livelihood for feed your family and things, that's good. But one other thought aspect, Fonzie, I think we missing too from this equation. Don't forget we are human beings, social beings, cultural beings, right? Knowledge of self, I think, is another important aspect of our being, and the educational system as well in the family and the community as a whole need to teach our history on broad, not just in broad general history, on the African history, because the majority of people who in the majority of people who live in the Virgin and the Caribbean as a whole is of African origin. We need to know what our ancestors did before the slave trade. They weren't destroying themselves; they were developing themselves, powerful societies and nations and so forth. So, to me, we are right now presently being abused, exploited, killing ourselves because we don't have no knowledge of self. We don't respect ourselves. So how we can respect others? We don't know ourselves. How can we know others? We don't even love ourselves. We hate ourselves. We hate life, because we lacking a knowledge of self. And we know historically speaking, Fonzie, through slavery and colonialism, they try to deprive us of our humanity. Not just the spirituality and so forth, but the humanity, making us less than a human being, or making us something else what we are not. And we have not even correct that human wrong that exists for over 400 years ago, but still lingering today because we have not take the proper measurement to correct it. So I think apart of those other two, the thing, we need knowledge of self, knowing our history. Marcus Garvey put it correctly. I'd like to quote him. He said, people without knowledge of the past history, culture, and origin is like a tree without roots. And you know what happened with a tree without roots? But you know what happened to it?
Yeah.
It died.
Yeah.
So those three are very important for us as human beings. Spiritual knowledge, historical cultural knowledge, as well as technical and vocational knowledge. That will make us a complete human being. Because once you, me, or others who knowledge of ourselves, we love ourselves. I know myself. I love myself. Respect myself.
Yeah.
I don't respect and love other people. You don't see me getting involved in crime. You see me getting involved in developing and helping people, or helping myself, helping my family. And you don't get involved in negative stuff. We do positive stuff because we contribute to civilization, and we should continue doing that in this present time. Okay, so that's my little 2 cents in terms of trying to address crime, and we got to catch our youngsters early too. From the early childhood education. Yeah. And within our family, if we want to reduce crime, and you can't just point it to the government. We got the family, the community, need to get involved in that. This is a societal problem, it's a societal problem, it's tearing family and community apart, and it will affect the economy eventually too, So everyone got involved to address this thing here. And I'll include not just the Christian church, but you got someone who's Muslim, the mosque need to be involved. Someone who say they'll be Rastafarian, you need to get involved. Get them that spiritual guidance to use them who are no restless and reckless in this time, you see. So that's my little 2 cents, sir.
Well, I appreciate your little 2 cents was a lot. You provided us with a perspective that I think you're the only caller that incorporated into the discussion our history and how it could be of significance and value to us.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I just want to add to the discussion. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. People have their perspective on a lot of different things, but I know that, I had a discussion this weekend, and I was telling someone that this election is going to be an interesting election. And the person turned to me and said, yeah, but you know, you got some candidates have a lot of money, a lot of money. And I turned to the person and I said, well, I understand that. And we know that, you know, money is a degree of power, manipulation, and influence. But I honestly feel that this election is not going to be won with money. It's going to be won by the community, because people are becoming a lot more conscious of a lot of things that are taking place in the community. And I think they're underestimating the public. Good morning, you're on the air, connect the dots.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Okay, good. I'm calling because I have a concern.
Sure, go right
If
ahead.
the Senate is going to give money to the community, ain't they supposed to do a review and make sure that there's a lease? I'm reading Act 340176, where they want to give some community system 225,000 to refurbish St. John's Parish Hall. This person was supposed to leave the premises in February. How is it the Senate is going to approve without consulting our priest, our parish priest?
Wow. So you're saying that
Okay.
they didn't engage him as a stakeholder?
Yeah, it says an act appropriating 325,000 for the community facility from the community facility trust fund to the general fund for the purpose of supporting the refurbishment of number 33 Company Street, Christiansted, and the program objectives of the Collective Collaboration Inc., and requiring that the Collective Collaboration Inc. comply with the financial disclosure requirements under 2 VIC 29. The Episcopal Church have nothing there. Temporarily give this lady what she was taken in homeless, and they give her temporarily. Then she was asked to leave in November. They extended to February. Okay, I'm the financial officer for the Diocese of the Virgin Islands. We have a property development committee. Those things don't come into us. I deal with the insurance. The insurance company is saying we cannot have this. And because of that, they refuse to insure that parish hall. Why is it the legislature didn't call in someone that is associated with this, then have an act to transfer money from this community trust fund to this collaborative association? Don't they check anything? Somebody is going to take the Senate to court.
Well, I don't know.
Okay, so we can't have people refurbishing our property without our consent.
I've never heard something like that. I know senators normally try to conduct due diligence, as I would call it, engaging stakeholders to determine how they're going to be affected. So something about that sounds a little off. I'm not saying that you don't have your information right, but if that's what took place, then they
It's
need
right
to.
here. It's right here in this act that they're supposed to act on.
Yeah. No.
All right, so I called the police, and the police said he didn't even know that they're going to do it. It has to be associated
with St. John's Episcopal, and they have to be the lead person.
Yeah.
Not this person do whatever they like.
Wow.
All right? Because our church insurance fund have already written to the priest and tell the priest they don't want these people there, and the place has to be fixed. So I don't know. I don't know what these guys are doing.
Yeah, something is strange about that.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm referring it. We are going to refer it to the chancellor. Our chancellor, let she deal with it.
Well, I'm quite sure that someone is listening from the institution itself and may decide to act on it or to find out exactly, what may have transpired, because they seem like it could potentially be a miscommunication. And I would hate to see that a good intention turn out to be something bad. Because if it's to renovate such a facility, it seemed to me that there was good intentions behind it. And if there was a lack of communication, I just hope it's not a situation where...
Yeah, it could have been thing, but so far, we have the parish hall to fix, right? However, this lady, I don't know, she's from, I don't know where she's from, but anyway, she has like homeless people. I think the priest permit her one time to use downstairs until she gets some other place. But then at that time it was associated with the Episcopal, St. John's Episcopal Church. However, now she's incorporated, whatever it is, or she might be a non-profit. And the insurance, our insurance, because we have insurance for the Episcopal Church, and they wrote the reverend and told him we cannot have that, and they refused to insure the place because they don't want liability kicks in. So the person, whoever it is, the lease is, they have to have additional insured, and so they're not covering the building. Okay. The reverend told me that he sent a copy of the letter, say he sent it to her, and she was supposed to leave November. Next thing I know, I heard she's supposed to leave. He gave her up to February. All at once, I was called this morning, and they sent the act to me, that what the Senate is going to do. The Senate need to do their research. They need to do the research and get all the facts. They're going to give out money, and then to this lady to fix. It should be money, and the church should be associated with it, that in case anything, it can't be by her to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I can't deal with these guys. They don't do no research. They just run off things for political reasons. Anyway, I just called to, that it will be on the air. It's St. Croix, but I was called St. Thomas. And we are going to follow up.
Well, people in St. Croix listen to the program as well, and I'm sure that the appropriate parties, if they weren't listening, someone might call and share with them what the discussion was on the radio, because I am compelled to ask some specific questions about that issue. And the first question that I would ask is, who does the property belong to?
The Episcopal Church and all the Episcopal Church of the Virgin Islands. We are incorporated, all the properties, all the churches, St. Andrews, all of them. Although it might say St. Andrews, it might say Holy Spirit, the bishop, and the diocese is administrator for all those properties.
Well, then you are the primary stakeholder. The church is the primary stakeholder. And I believe that you either have a council or a board in the church that should have been...
That's the chancellor, our chancellor, Attorney Ballantyne. So I just called the chairman of the Property and Development Committee, and she's going to try to get in touch with the chancellor.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right?
Okay, well.
Okay, but I just want it to be known.
Okay.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks for calling. Bye-bye.
You're welcome back.
Yeah, well, you know, you have these issues, and I've always believed that you should incorporate people who are bound to be affected in the decision-making process. In this instance, as the lady shared with us, I believe with due diligence that those stakeholders should have been invited to the meeting. I'm quite sure that the senator or senators entertained some concern or a request or a plea from someone associated to this church. Whether there was a breakdown in communication is a different story, and that's what it sounds like to me. There was a breakdown in communication somewhere, because I don't really foresee, and you know, I ain't speaking for anyone, because the lady obviously, the caller obviously had her facts in place. She even got the legislation. She tapped all the appropriate parties within their organization to find out if in fact anyone was actually included in any discussions. People are supposed to be, if you know, involved in the decision-making process to ensure that you're all on the same page and working in tandem. But I hope that they could resolve that situation, because it would be sad to see that a noble cause, good intention, turn out to be something bad and could potentially be a backlash even on that respective senator that may have sponsored it, or senators, because I don't have the details about the legislation nor what actually took place during a process. So anyway, we're down to the end of the hour, and I haven't even mentioned my sponsors. I just want to recognize Catch of the Day. Catch of the Day is located on Cookie Point Beach. I don't know if any of you went down there for even Catch a Coffee to get the wonderful omelet and that drink they call the mimosa, early morning drink. I'm not a drinker, and I've never been a drinker, but I tasted it, and it really tastes very soothing. And that's a mimosa there at Catch of Coffee, located on Cookie Point Beach. And have you been to the meetup? The meetup is located there by the movie theater, Caribbean Cinemas. The meetup, I mean, you talk about local dishes, the best local dishes you could get, and ask for the chef, because apparently he cooked to your liking, which is Struggle, located there at the meetup. And of course, last but not least, well, I won't say last but not least, another sponsor being First Stop Gas Station, located across from Vitraco Park. They just have, you know, from gas to grocery, you name it, and they have it. And last but not least now, Fine Print Consulting Services, which I am CEO and president of Fine Print Consulting Services, that provide a myriad of services from mid-size to large businesses, even small businesses. You ask us, and we actually cater to your needs. And we believe in customer satisfaction. In this case, client satisfaction. This has been Adler Fonsi Donnerstog here with you on Connect the Dot, your host. I'm on every Monday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. Just wanted to thank everyone that called in and provided contributions to the program by comments, and of course, addressing issues that are of great concerns to them. And this morning, what we were discussing was crime in the Virgin Islands. And, you know, I wanted to dedicate and just say again to the family of Stacy, you know, there in St. Croix Shang. It's just a sad thing, and this morning I just wanted to kind of offer my condolences to that family, because I'm sure that they're still in shock. Many of us are still in shock, and hopefully that
comme Lewi.